So with everything that's happened, and I'm sure you've done a lot of internal work with dealing with that, what kind of father is he now? Like, how do you navigate the man who did that to you versus the person who's the father of your child?
I feel like essentially that's the main goal. We want our kids to love us the way we love our parents if we have that relationship with our parents. But I feel like him being a father today is no different from him being a father 2 years ago or 4 years ago. It's just he's not present. And I mean, he likes to save our daughter for last, if you will. So it's just like my daughter, I know to me, she's my first priority. So it's kind of hurtful that you have a man who puts a lot of people first in his life besides his child.
I don't see you out asking for Birkin bags, asking for cars, asking for trips. I see you talking about his lack of parenting and being involved in your kid's life, not being with you, not giving you clout, being in your kid's life, his kid's life. Why do you think people are missing that? I just feel like no matter the logic behind anything anybody says, people just totally don't get it when people say it. They just listen to what he says.
I mean, it's not about me and him. We're not together. So it's just like, I make that very clear. No matter, like, a lot of people get lost in translation when I speak or the times that I do tell my story. When I tell my story and I speak on, or I get personal for the few times that I do, like whether it's over live or something, people like to misconstrue it and be like, she's bitter. She's bitter. She wants him. Like, it's just like, no, I'm passionate. And the number one thing I'm passionate about is being a parent and my daughter. So it's just like, yes, it's gonna frustrate me when I see him not being equally as well involved, or just want. I don't see that even if he didn't have the time, because him being who he is, just that genuine want. Like, you can't see your daughter FaceTime her iPad. You can't, do certain things. It's just certain things that I never built barrier or bridge or made it difficult for him to be active. I don't have him on child support. Um, I've made it very
Does
clear.
does he does he help? Does he help financially at all?
No.
Not even a
What?
dollar. Not even a dollar.
He popped up into my daughter's life recently after he got off house arrest. I did allow him to see the baby. I didn't we didn't have no real direct conversation. Everything's mediated through my mom. So she was the middle person in us talking. I haven't spoken to the guy in almost 2 years. I had no conversation with him. He wasn't calling to check on the baby until like a whole year after he was already locked up, and he chose not to speak or reach out.
But this is what I said to Nia Guzman about Chris Brown, right? You didn't ask to get in a relationship with a rapper, but you did. I mean, you didn't ask to have a baby by a rapper, but you ended up having a baby by a man who became a rapper and became wealthy, who now has a responsibility. What is this not going after child support thing? I'm glad that Nia did it, and why are you not doing it?
No,
Hmm.
that's one thing. It's the idea of child support. People look at it as a ticket. It's so frustrating to me that I have to go to it's actually embarrassing that I have to go to a court to ask them that they mandate you to help me. I'm not asking you to provide a lifestyle. Just help, bro. And I feel like you should want to provide those things for your kids. You should want your kid to live as equally good as you. I'm not asking you to buy me a bag or to pay for anything for myself. I take care of myself. Just contribute and show interest and spend time with my daughter. That's it. That's all I really press on, and that's where my frustration comes.
But if he can go on the Shade Room and tell my friend Angie that he pays $15,000 for each wig he does, he can make sure that Soraya has a college fund set up, that she
Yep.
has any
Can
private
I I'm
schooling
gonna
she wants
I'm
to
gonna
go
be
to.
completely personal with you. He said he spent more on his girlfriend in 1 year than what he has put away for our daughter in a bank account.
Mhm.
Wow.
But that's the point. You have the power to go and hold him accountable. He ain't new to the
Yes,
courts.
and let me tell you
Mm.
something. I've gone, all right, so it was early 2019, and this was maybe a little after the last incident that he put his hands on me, and then he went away to jail and just completely cut all communication. So at this point, I don't know what's going on. I I'm hearing he's cooperating. I'm hearing all these other things. So I'm like, he didn't leave us with anything. Completely, like, he left us out to dry while he got locked up
Hmm.
and took care of the people that he wanted to take care of. So I went to child support. I filed a case or whatever. I did all of that. When I went again to follow up. They're telling me that it's like obsolete. Like there's nothing in the system. I don't have a case number, nothing under my name, nothing. So I'm like, this is ridiculous. I was just here last week and
So it just disappeared.
like it was deleted, like it was removed from the system.
Ooh.
So listen to this. The lady who was working the counter looking it up, anywhere I go, especially after that point, I was super under the radar. I didn't want to go to a public building in Brooklyn to family court to, just be spotted or whatever. I was taking caution with those things. So I had a hoodie on, and she was like, I know who you are. And I'm like, do you? She goes, yeah. And I'm going to tell you something right now. I'm a publicist. And she was, I guess, promoting herself. And she goes, I'm be
The lady working at the courthouse.
yeah. She was
This is
like,
Yeah.
messy.
she was like,
This is so messy.
there are people who remove cases. She was like, I'm gonna put it in and I'm gonna send it through for you. So I went ahead and I was like, I was grateful. I was like, oh my God, thank you. She's like, don't worry, get what you're supposed to get for your daughter. That's what she told me. So I had ended up moving. So the county that I moved to, I followed up with them. So again, it's removed out the system. And I'm not gonna lie, after hearing that it was taken out of the system, or how, I don't even know how it works, but they weren't finding anything, and I was going back and reapplying. It was so frustrating. So it's just like, you know what? I took it as he got a good fucking lawyer, okay? Because whoever it is that's removing my case, he's really not trying to help me. So it was just frustrating and embarrassing that I gotta keep on doing this for you to want to do for your daughter. So I just said, forget the whole thing.
That's interesting.
I'm gonna help you figure that out.
Disgusting.
I got a
That's
little
very
idea. I'm gonna
interesting.
help you figure that out because my mother did. I grew up with my mom who fell on drugs, and my dad wasn't in my life. And when she got on drugs, and even before then, we struggled. And she would always talk about my dad's child support. That child support never showed up. He never paid it. This dude got the money to pay for it, and the fact that he can like just run around and talk about
Oh.
how much he's spending on wigs and not taking care of his daughter is not cool.
Ugly wigs, by the way. Okay, go ahead.
No, it's just
So,
like whenever he decides to be a dad, that's when it's gonna happen. Not because someone told him, not because a court is like, it's just that's just the way he's wired.
but
I
I think it's less about being a dad though, and more about protecting Soraya and making sure that she has
But that's
all
the
the
thing.
resources that she should have. Right?
Yep.
Absolutely. My daughter right now is on the spectrum. Like she's on the spectrum for autism. Everything that services, all of that, that's me. Like me and my family and the people that I have around me that help with that. He doesn't help with that. I mean, the last conversation I had with him months ago, well, that he had with my mom in front of me because he can't bring himself to have any words to say to me. He was like acting as if he was involved or wanted to be involved with figuring that out. That didn't happen. He completely went MIA. He wanted to be on board with planning my daughter's birthday. Completely been MIA. He hasn't been around for months. And I feel like the only reason why he did come around a few months ago was, so he can later on that week have TMZ put out that he said sorry to me He made amends with me. He sees his daughter. He provides. After one initial meeting, after a whole year and a half of you not reaching out or doing what you said we're gonna do.